Retto is not your average everyday hero. No, sir. This man hit the lottery of life and spends every day surrounded by beautiful concubines ready to serve his every need. Using their seductive techniques and erotic moves, they gain more power each time their lust increases. As a result, our boy is swimming, nay, drowning with their affection. Stick to the end to find out how far they are willing to go to fulfill his desires. In a distant past, Karara Hosino was teaching our boy how to hold hands like grown-ups and sparked an emotion in him he never knew was possible. He started to blush like a Chinese doll, and she kept on teasing him non-stop. We were then fast-forwarded to the future, where Retto was trying to enjoy his erotic manga in peace, but his friends had other plans and pulled out a seductive magazine. As the girls bad-mouthed them, a fully grown prime Hosino admonished their perverted nature like the strict mommy she was. She was known as the Iron Maiden, and all the boys had the hots for her. Retto gave up hope and explained how she changed from the girl he loved. Later that day, Hosino stayed back to help and was feeling anxious when she ran into our boy, who came simping harder than an Elves fan during a concert. Despite trying to make a move, she kept her distance from him and told him to shut it. This girl sure had a nasty attitude. She even ended up screaming at him like he took the last slice of pizza. However, as she was about to fall, he jumped at her, grabbing her melons and copping a feel of those scrumptious desserts. As she ran away, her hormones started flaring up and Retto went back home feeling depressed. Meanwhile, the news were broadcasting the alien invasion and a weird-looking doctor started explaining what they were. He told them how the aliens were after human sexual desires, and I'm starting to enjoy the plot of this show already. Retto listened on while a mini-concert was underway. An alien showed up and started threatening them, until the performer decided to show her goody-goodies on stage. Soon after, the alien absorbed their desires, including the hottie, who felt lethargic in an instant. Retto wasn't about to let this slide and kept on seeing flashbacks. Oh man, his aura was all over the place and you could tell he stood on business. This guy didn't flinch for a second and kept his distance from the creep. He proceeded to power up his ability and rushed in for the kill. Hold up, where were his clothes? Talk about real power, this guy is the real deal. Back at the Earth Defense Force facility, Retto was complaining about his clothes and how he wanted a quick fix for this problem. The scientist in question, Ju, who was more of a zesty freak, insisted there was no solution in the meantime. He calibrated his gear and told him to look out. What is this guy wearing seriously? He started explained how the gear used erotic energy to fuel up. As a result, it was Retto's obligation to go out and started dating, in hopes of finding a compatible match. Do they even consider this work? His words struck a chord with Retto, who vowed to take revenge for what they did to his EX. The following day, our boy tried apologizing to Hosino, who completely ignored him and treated him like he never existed. He tried following her back home and kept on apologizing like a wimp. As soon as he mentioned the past, the alien from yesterday came by, forcing Hosino to her knees. Our boy promised to save her and tried punching it away, however. He had no energy, and the alien brought a special equipment to counter his powers. Oh wait, this doesn't look good. Retto threw a towel at him and started running away with his girl. They went to their usual hideout and the proximity sparked Hoshino's intrigue. She asked him to hold hands while the alien was devouring sexual desires. These two started breathing heavily as Hosino gave him that look. The "I want you now" look. Something in her started to open up, and her ecstasy filled up his erotic gear. Hold up, were these two actually compatible? The alien showed up looking like a menace, but their aura was surreal and used it to blast him to Kingdom Come. They were both naked, and Retto couldn't believe her outstanding beauty. Her wonderful melons caught him off guard, and he continued to apologize for peeking a look. They walked down memory lane of the day the alien absorbed Hoshino's sexual desires and claimed she was the horniest before exploding in front of them. That's the day she locked up her heart. But now things were different. They were both adults and she suggested helping him fight the bugs, which is code for clapping, I suppose. She sure was the horniest, oh you lucky dog. Where did you find this awesome specimen of a human? Just then, 3 of his waifus came by and started complimenting her figure. Oh wow, Retto owned a harem. The waifus then gave Hosino a key and welcomed them to the house. They called her the 4th musketeer, sparking her anger. Later on, Our boy started seeing erotic dreams of his new waifu and had me sweating like an Olympian here. He woke up feeling dazed and confused, and that's when the dog handed him panties which belonged to Momoka. She was not pleased with the panty thief and almost ripped his head out, had it not been for her feelings for him. That wasn't all either, since the adorable Sora woke up beside him. He told her how she was sleepwalking again, and she was too sleepy to even care. He was then welcomed by his third waifu, Shirayuki, who seemed quite pleasant, as opposed to the other two fanatics. However, I spoke too early, since she used the dog to live out her wildest fantasies. Yeah, she's a freak, all right. Retto didn't waste any time leaving his base of operation and started thinking of Hosino, who refused Ju's offer to live under the same roof with Retto and his 3 gorgeous stooges. They kept on teasing her feisty nature, since she refused to succumb and disregarded everything they said. Now she's an alpha lioness for sure. After she stormed out, they all begged Retto to convince her, and the pressure was starting to boil up. Later on, our boy sensed danger lurking in the shadows, and it seems another perverted alien was toying with the hotties. Luckily, he swooped in and crushed it in one go. Afterward, he headed back to school where guys were being rejected left and right by the Iron Maiden. Can't they read in between the lines? She's just not interested in anyone else besides the MC. As soon as he walked up to her, she dropped her guard and started blushing on the spot. The boys started congratulating him, while he kept on seeing flashbacks of their discussion. This guy was truly smitten with her. As she was strolling like the divine concubine she was, the lover boy came by to shoot his shot. However, she wasn't having it and tried ignoring him. Even so, his words triggered an emotional trauma she tried to hide and left her amazed by his sincere apology and effort. She tried to walk away, but kept on seeing distant memories she buried deep within her bottomless abyss of a heart. Of a time she was head over heels over Retto. He was quite the shy coward and couldn't handle all of this. Back in the present, she tried convincing herself she didn't love him, and that's when a monster attacked. This one looked unique, more like a queen bee out on a hunt. She captured her first prey, while Hosino was running towards them. The alien bee was able to see his wildest fantasies, and it was Hosino in a questionable form. He confessed how he loved her and felt devastated when she rejected him. What a worthless loser. The alien was about to devour him whole, and our brave feline decided to jump in and save the poor soul. Did she really stand up to a monster without any powers or abilities? What was she even thinking? Luckily for her, she knew someone who considered himself Superman without the elaborate costume, since he goes naked every time he wins a battle. They tried hiding in the car when cops came around. However, they were so close to one another, and she couldn't help herself. Is this man the luckiest guy who ever lived, or what? All of a sudden, she changed her mind and decided to join them. Where did this come from? I guess her feelings got the best of her. She then apologized to the poor dude she rejected and went back home with Retto. She was cordially welcomed by the waifu, and Retto couldn't believe his luck. Soon after, a giant alien showed up wreaking havoc, and Retto was summoned to the bathroom alongside his adorable gang. Hosino took the opportunity to destroy the bug with her powers and showed everyone why she was her. Later on, our boy was chasing down some seductive bugs who threw a smoke bomb and tried escaping. However, Momoka wasn't having it and threw them outside towards Hosino, who tried punching her but failed miserably. Told you she had no abilities. They went back home, and the ladies got together to try and help Hosino find her purpose and calling. Momoka walked up to her and asked if she was building up her sexual energy on a daily basis. No wonder she was so helpless. They had to smooch with Retto or peruse adult magazines in order to build up their lust and stay prepared. The furious Momoka had to be stopped by Shirayuki, who tried calming them both down. Hosino felt out of place, and the whole incident seemed a bit melodramatic. Later on, our helpless Momo kept staring into oblivion, reminiscing about her past. She used to be the best in everything, but all the boys were attracted to her sister instead of her. This bothered her a lot, and she started going through the magazine when a sudden news broadcast about breast implants caught her eye. The following day, she went to the bathroom and started implementing the medicine. Later that day, Retto got back and started getting ready to head into the bathroom. However, a huge surprise was waiting for him inside, as Momo was feeling dizzy and fell into the bath. He tried lifting her up, and this caused her to start breathing heavily all of a sudden. She asked him whether he loved chicks with huge melons, and he tried explaining how she was actually his type. As soon as his gear started acting up, he ran away in a hurry and had Momo thinking of the time she met Ju. He walked up to her in the rain and tried recruiting her on the spot. This made her feel like the chosen one, and back in the present, she confronted Hosino about her looks and how she wasn't intimidated by her huge jugs. The next day they all went to swimming class and boy oh boy, was Hosino stealing the show. Back at the girls' locker room, one of the girls was missing her panties and Hosino noticed the tiny bug flying by. She ran after it with the intent to kill, since she wanted to take revenge, and that's when Retto came along to provide support. Does he have a bug sensor or something? Either way, this running scene is quite provocative if you know what I mean. He successfully caught the bug, but was seen holding the panties like a thief. He tried explaining what happened, and Hosino covered for him. Talk about a life savior. Later that day, they went to the panty shop to get something for Hosino, who couldn't handle all the teasing. The girls were relentless and kept on prying and sticking their nose in her business. One of the girls insisted she had a date and went ahead with a girl. Well, to each their own, I suppose. Back at the mansion, everyone was sleeping peacefully until Hosino walked in and undressed for our guy. She was feeling quite shy and got into bed with him. She had her back to him, but his guts were screaming at him to turn around. We were then flashed back to the time he spent the night at her place to study. He tried messing with her but was caught red-handed. Luckily for him, he was given a green light to go ahead, but he chickened out. This time around, he went for it without hesitation and had her growling. However, it was the sleepwalking Sora who had no shame and interrupted their wholesome moment. Hosino ran out in a hurry and felt absolutely humiliated. She accidentally used up her powers and tore a hole through the roof. Oh wow, did she just waste all the energy she saved up? Everyone was proud of her and congratulated her progress though. Elsewhere, the alien queen was scolding her lackeys about their failed operation. Despite all the progress they made, it wasn't sufficient since she wanted to conquer Earth as a whole. Meanwhile, they had one of them as hostage. But wait, was that Shirayuki? Never mind, it was just a dream. These dream sequences are getting out of hand. Retto came by and accidentally pushed her to the ground, and her friend teased her on the way to school. It seems Shira was having an off day today. I guess we all have our bad days, even the pretty ladies. Her bestie, Chia, was the popular girl in class and started tickling her feet. Everyone was in love with Chia, and her enthusiasm, however, Shira was considered a failure and felt devastated. They went to the roof where Chia believed in her talents and told her not to give up, especially since she had a great rack and figure. Her beauty was the source of envy, but Shira lacked the self-confidence to fully utilize it. Meanwhile, Retto was fighting another alien who looked awful. An emergency broadcast was given, and Shira ran off towards the octopus-looking alien. Wait up. Where did Retto go? Was he truly defeated by this creepy tentacles? Shira tried fighting back, and that's when Retto appeared as a tentacle. Okay, this is strange. Was this a paramecia type of ability? Yape. Whomever she touched turned into a tentacle. How were they supposed to fight her? Shira used her voice to blast the alien and fell into Retto. Whoa, this girl was surely powerful. Way to go, sis. Later on, she walked back home feeling confident, while Retto was busy staring at Hoshino's goodies. Is everyone in the house a colossal perv? Sora left the room and gave them some privacy, and Shira walked in to cook them dinner. Momo came along, and they all started talking about Sora, who was actually an introvert. Soon after, they held Hoshino hostage and the dog went to work with Shira as usual. Momo, on the other hand, felt ashamed when Hoshino saw her nude drawings. This turned her into a monster, but Hoshino was smooth with it and touched base with her. After she promised to keep her secret safe, they went back to the room so Momo could sketch her. Talk about an artistic inspiration. We need more people like Momo inside the anime industry. Soon after, an emergency alert was broadcasted and Retto walked in and slipped, if you know what I mean. Meanwhile, a spider-looking alien was attacking a bookstore and the heroes of the hour walked in to witness the books being devoured. As expected, Retto was ready for the smoke and chased after her while Momo unleashed her incredible ability. It manifested in the form of wings and she used it to strike down the spiders. Can she fly though? I guess that answered my question. What a neat ability that was. Retto finished up his side of things and elsewhere, one of the insect alien kidnapped Hoshino, garnering the wrath of the heroes. Sora tried apologizing to the gang who weren't mad at her, since it wasn't her fault, Momo, on the other hand, was feeling a bit dubious about the whole situation since she thought it was a trap. She suggested to build up their sexual energy before engaging them head-on. She summoned the ladies to a hut and tried convincing them to smooch with Retto. They headed out looking seductive and gave him their panties. Without wasting another minute, their gear started lighting up, and this reminded Momo of a time she experienced a manual discharge, if you know what I mean. Retto told them to follow him, and they got inside a packed train. Ooh la la, that was something else. Back at the forest hideout, Hosino was feeling quite frustrated, and what seemed like an innocent girl transformed into a hideous alien. She possessed the ability of mimicry and used it to fool everyone. As soon as she left, our girl started flirting with the bug, in hopes of activating her gear, and used the opportunity to strike it down. This is why humans can never be trusted. Elsewhere, Retto and the girls were in the area feeling pumped, and Hosino ran into another creature who seemed to enjoy humans. This one was different from the rest. She was more like a human dog, and to make matters worse, she was the firstborn of the queen. Basically, the princess of the kingdom who was locked away for having weird mutations, classical racism, even among aliens. She then introduced herself as Chacha and begged her to save her from this awful torment. Chacha, what a cool name that is. After hearing her out, Hosino agreed, and the gang approached the front doors feeling supercharged. Retto blasted his way through, and his waifu gang had his back throughout the way. Momo was ready to go all out, and proved once again why she was a menace to society. Meanwhile, Chacha was trying to understand Hoshino's ability and informed her how she was able to give our sexual desires, unlike the others who consume it. This gave our girl a boost of power, and she couldn't handle it anymore. Even so, she didn't charge up, and Chacha was growing desperate. She told her to feel confident, and that's when they heard the guards running towards the door. It seems her rescue party were close by, and Hosino promised to take Chacha with her. That's when another alien came by and captured her, smacking Chacha away and telling her she was nothing but scum. Natural selection was never fair, was it? Fortunately, Retto made it through, but was stopped in his tracks when he saw Hosino held hostage. He was then surrounded, and that's when Hosino cried out for help. Left with no option, he succumbed to their threats and decided to surrender. He felt weak and hopeless and fell to his knees. He tried giving a motivational speech, and that's when Hosino started narrating her sob backstory. It was of a time the rain ruined their chances of going to a party. Hosino was feeling devastated but asked Retto out for Valentine. Even so, he acted all nonchalant and didn't give her any attention. The fireworks started going off, and Hosino never got the chance to engage. This thought energized her gear, and she used it to blast the alien to Kingdom Come. The waifu were impressed, and Retto came by to save his loved one. She asked him for a favor, and that's when they saved Chacha from imminent destruction. Shira and the others rescued Hosino, while our boy stole the spotlight. As they grew desperate and started calling out to him, they were feeling optimistic when they heard his voice. That's when they saw adult Chacha dominating our boy, who was knocked unconscious. They took her back to Ju, who was on cloud 9 just thinking of her potential. He wanted her to prove it, and that's when she transformed into her real form. Ju asked to quarantine her for further testing, but Hosino asked to take care of her. Even though Ju was incredulous, her consistent chattering was too much to handle, and everyone succumbed to her desires. He accepted their plea and bid them good luck. The following day, our boy was sleeping peacefully when he was awoken by Hoshino's seductive provocation. My boy went to work and started clapping, but it was Chacha all along. What a disappointment. At least she got a new pet. That should count as something. The real Retto got up and started patting her. That's when she unleashed her powers and transferred his body into her consciousness. Wait a minute, she could do that. How powerful is this alien? She then headed to Shira's room and scared the life out of her. However, Chacha jumped up into her bosoms, and Retto started feeling her warmth. Things got really interesting, and Shira was caught off guard. As she squirmed on the floor, Chacha's job was successful. He then went to Momo's room while she was stretching and transformed into her workout buddy. She sure was happy. Soon after, they started stretching, and this scene was starting to look quite invigorating. Chacha did not hesitate to massage her melons and went into Sora's room. Sora was quite defensive, and that's when they saw her artwork. Now that all was said and done, Hosino was up next and was ready to take a bath. She and Chacha jumped in, and Retto felt like he was in paradise. Soon after, Hosino fell to the ground and Chacha told him to use his chance. Hosino woke up and was feeling flustered. That's when their spiritual energy went insane. Hosino was upset after finding out the truth, and boy was she a monster.